Sometimes life delivers signals that you simply cannot overlook. Small things unfold like unexpected coincidences even when you are not searching for them. You might notice an unusual kind of stillness, or a message that almost reached you but never arrived. A certain presence appears at the precise moment you decide to move forward. There is a specific point in every profound bond where nothing seems to have changed on the surface. Yet underneath, everything has shifted. You have likely felt an unease for days or even weeks. This feeling is not fear, but a strange certainty. It is as if the atmosphere around you has grown heavier. Memories, emotions, or the sudden awareness of someone who is not physically present come to you without warning. I want you to pause for a moment, breathe, and truly listen to what your heart has been communicating for a very long time. Even if your mind tries to suppress it, what you are sensing is not an illusion or a simple coincidence. What you feel is real. That gentle pressure in your chest and that new vibration are not simply your imagination or a desperate wish for circumstances to be different. It is evidence that the invisible bond between two souls has deepened and tightened. Today, I want to speak to you about the person who tried to hold back, but now feels something they can no longer conceal, even from themselves. They carry a genuine fear of losing you. This is not the selfish fear of wanting to possess someone. It is something far deeper and more fundamental. When someone who carries your energy within their soul truly senses they are losing you, something awakens inside them. It is a sudden, uncomfortable, and unwelcome awakening. For a long time, this person may have existed with the arrogant assumption that you would always be there, waiting and keeping the light on while they decided whether it was safe to draw closer. But energy does not remain constant. The moment you shifted and your energy stopped waiting, you sent a tremor through the connection that struck the very center of their world. It does not matter how much this person tried to conceal it, how much pride they constructed, or how many rational excuses they created to avoid feeling. There is a moment on this journey when the soul stops obeying the mind. In that moment, the soul hears the emptiness and is confronted with the real and terrifying possibility that you might not exist in their future. That is precisely what is unfolding right now. While you are receiving this, you do not need a missed call or a lengthy message to know it is true. You know it because soul connections do not follow calendars or logic. They follow a vibration. When the other person's soul senses it is about to lose its energetic home, it begins to stir. What you will discover today will help you understand why this transformation is happening right now and why it affects you so deeply. If you are still watching this, you are already part of the rare few who are willing to face what most people spend their entire lives running from. 97% of people scroll past content like this, not because it does not reach them, but because it reaches them too deeply. If this is already moving something inside you, subscribe to Carl Jung Psychology right now and turn on notifications. What you are about to hear does not just explain the fear of losing someone. It will permanently change how you see yourself. We often assume that silence means the end, or that distance means forgetting. But in the realm of energy, silence is frequently the space where the most significant transformations occur. The person who appeared cold, distant, or confused is now entering the period where they must confront the truth. Their familiar distractions no longer serve them. Suppressing their own emotions no longer functions. Something is compelling them toward an unexpected move. This reaction does not emerge from their conscious will, but from a profound need to restore the balance that you disrupted when you stepped back. To truly understand why this fear of losing you is so intense and why it will produce something unexpected, we must first examine what you have done. Perhaps, without fully realizing it, you altered the rules of the dynamic forever. If you are ready to embrace this truth in your life, write in the comments right now, "I'm taking my power back." Those 4 words carry more weight than you might realize. You are evolving, and that is a central part of this entire story. For a long period, your energy was likely directed outward, always flowing toward this person. It was an energy of waiting, doubting, and constant uncertainty. Perhaps you spent countless nights wondering whether they felt something, whether you were remembered, or whether you truly mattered to them. This vibration, which came from love, was often perceived on the other side as a demand or a pressure that actually granted the other person enough security to remain still. As long as you carried the connection alone, the other person did not need to hold anything. But something shifted. You learned to prioritize yourself more, perhaps without even intending to. You began to draw your energy back, not to punish them, but as an authentic act of self-love. The moment you return to yourself, the vibration transforms completely. This is known as the physics of emptiness. In spiritual relationships, nature and the human soul resist vacant spaces. When you stop chasing and no longer operate from a place of need, a void forms in the relationship. Previously, this space was occupied by your persistence and unwavering attention. Now, there is stillness. But it is not a hollow stillness. It is an inner absence. I want you to truly grasp the distinction between these 2 states because it is profoundly important. Physical absence means not seeing one another. Inner absence occurs when you are no longer seeking their validation. It is the moment you release emotionally and redirect your focus toward your own center. This absence is precisely what strikes the other person now, because you previously gave them the complete certainty that you were always accessible to them. Imagine 2 people holding a taut rope. If you always pull, the other person only needs to resist. They do not need to exert effort to hold it. The moment you release the rope to tend to your own needs, the other person loses their footing. They stumble and experience the missing support, which becomes a mirror reflecting their own truth back at them. Without your constant energy sustaining their ego, this person is compelled to generate their own energy and confront their loneliness head-on. They ask themselves why the world suddenly feels colder. They sense that your heart no longer gives itself away as it once did, and that unsettles them more deeply than any physical separation ever could. Emotional absence is far more powerful than silence. A person can eventually adjust to you not writing, but they cannot adjust to no longer occupying a meaningful place in your inner world. At this point, the law of balance begins to operate. By withdrawing your attention, you cease pushing. When you stop pushing, the other person stops retreating. There is nothing remaining for them to fight against. When the wall dissolves, they are confronted with their own emotions. It is as though life declares that now you are prepared for what belongs to you to begin moving toward you. This movement emerges from discomfort. The emptiness you left behind demands to be filled. Since you are no longer willing to fill it with small gestures and quiet suffering, only the other person remains to do so. That is why you sense this restlessness now. You feel their energy searching for you. Even if they express nothing outwardly, they are deeply unsettled within. They examine things they previously overlooked and reflect on what they once took entirely for granted. Your withdrawal did not shatter the connection. Instead, it cleared away the noise and left this person alone with a truth they had evaded for a very long time. This truth functions like a mirror that illuminates the parts of themselves they kept carefully concealed. To understand why this person is responding now, we must examine the shadow and the mirror. Every person carries a shadow, an invisible repository where we store aspects of ourselves we refuse to acknowledge. This is where our deepest fears and insecurities reside. When this person pulled away or acted cold and indifferent, they were not genuinely reacting to you, but to their own shadow. The fear of losing you is now surfacing to reveal something that has always existed within them, but was obscured behind old wounds and outdated defenses. As long as you were pursuing them, you served as a container for their own fears. If they were afraid of intimacy, they could convince themselves you were too intense or too emotionally demanding. Their mind used your presence to justify their fear. Now that you have withdrawn, you have removed the screen they used to project their inner narrative onto. Now they sit alone in the theater of their own consciousness. They are compelled to face aspects of themselves they never wished to confront. This process is extraordinarily intense and disorienting for them. There is a profound understanding in Carl Jung Psychology that explains why they feel they are losing you specifically. Deep within their psyche, you represent an image of their own soul. We often seek externally what we have abandoned internally. Your energy and your manner of loving represent a dimension of themselves that they have suppressed and hidden away. Perhaps you embody the vulnerability they refuse to display to the world. That is why, when you withdraw, they do not simply feel the loss of a companion. They feel as though a fragment of their own identity is being quietly taken from them. The fear of losing you is an awakening. They are beginning to recognize that you are irreplaceable. They understand that what they experienced with you will not be replicated with anyone else. This realization carries tremendous weight because it illuminates what truly matters in their life. Their shadow, which once instructed them to run and maintain distance, now communicates that genuine safety resided in the very connection they chose to neglect. They recognize that it was not an absence of love, but an inability to manage the depth of what they felt. This internal conflict is a profound battle between their ego, which craves control and certainty, and their deeper self, which perceives a true home in you. When someone exists primarily in fear, they behave as though they are completely indifferent. But when the soul perceives the real risk of permanent loss, that fear loses its governing power. This essential part of them now moves through memories and contemplates words that seemed entirely insignificant before. They revisit moments that now feel like crucial fragments of a much larger and more meaningful picture. It is as though life itself is revealing to them what they failed to treasure when they had the chance. This does not bring them peace immediately. It brings tension, conflict, and a growing sense of urgency. They feel divided within themselves. Their former self desires to maintain emotional distance, but a deeper and more ancient force propels them back in your direction. This internal division triggers behaviors that extend far beyond ordinary sadness. What they are experiencing is a major and irreversible transformation. Even if they conceal it behind a composed exterior, there are signs you will recognize. External stillness does not indicate internal calm. From the outside, everything might appear entirely unchanged. They might continue going to work, spending time with friends, and appearing outwardly stable. Yet this appearance is extremely fragile right now. They are experiencing genuine psychological and emotional turbulence beneath the surface. This person is discovering the fundamental truth that you cannot escape something you carry within yourself. The restlessness has become a persistent and disruptive presence that undermines their peace at every turn. One of the clearest indications of this awakening is a notable shift in their sleep. It is highly probable that this person is struggling to fall asleep or is waking very early, typically between 3 and 4 in the morning. This is a period when the mind's defensive structures are at their lowest. When the logical mind rests, the soul assumes authority and begins to speak its truth. They wake with a heaviness in their chest and an anxiety that has no apparent or rational cause. In those quiet pre-dawn hours, their thoughts travel to you without invitation. They can no longer successfully distract themselves. The weight of your absence becomes entirely real. During the day, their mind becomes their primary adversary. Thoughts of you interrupt their concentration without warning. They might be driving or in conversation with someone when a vivid image of you suddenly surfaces. These are not chosen or deliberate thoughts. They are recollections that invade their awareness against their will. They do not revisit the conflicts or the difficult moments. They remember the warmth and the security you offered them. Their memory begins to reconstruct the entire narrative, preserving only the truth of the bond and discarding everything else. This is deeply painful because it contrasts so sharply with their current reality, where you are no longer present. In our modern world, this restlessness also manifests through digital behavior. Since pride prevents them from reaching out to you directly, they seek relief by quietly monitoring your online presence. You might sense that this person is tracking your activity on social media with surprising regularity. They do not leave reactions, because that would require acknowledging that you still matter to them. But they observe everything carefully. They check your stories and note whether you appear to be online. They revisit old conversations to reconnect with your energy and your voice. This is not mere curiosity. It is a deep compulsion to confirm that you still exist within their world. When they see you thriving or appearing content and at peace, they feel both relief and a profound fear simultaneously. They are relieved you are still present, but genuinely frightened that you might be genuinely fulfilled without them. This silent observation is their method of maintaining connection without exposing their vulnerability. However, it only intensifies their longing for you with each passing day. Seeing you without being able to reach you amplifies the emptiness rather than filling it. They search for any evidence that you are still waiting somewhere in the background. But when they sense your new independence and your renewed sense of self, their apprehension deepens. They are compelled to acknowledge that their window of opportunity is narrowing with every day that passes. This inner storm grows so powerful that it begins to transfer across the energetic space between you. Energy behaves like water. When it is obstructed, it discovers a new path and a new channel. Since direct communication is blocked by pride and fear, all of this unspoken pain travels through invisible pathways that the rational mind cannot account for. You cease being simply an observer of the situation and begin to feel their awakening within your own body and emotional field. In a deep soul connection, the boundaries between what you feel and what they feel become increasingly indistinct. There are things the rational mind cannot explain, but the heart recognizes with complete and immediate certainty. To understand what is occurring within you, remember that you share a common emotional space. It is like an underground lake connecting two separate wells. When one person disturbs the surface, the ripples reach the other side, regardless of what lies between them. Distance becomes essentially irrelevant. You might experience sudden emotional shifts for no apparent reason. You might feel a profound sadness or an inexplicable unease settling in your chest. Most often, these feelings are not authentically your own. You are receiving and processing the emotional storm of the other person across the invisible connection. This sadness reflects their grief over what they chose to surrender. This fear is their anxiety that it may already be too late. This unexpected wave of love is the precise moment when their defenses begin to lower. This emotional resonance is the most powerful confirmation you will ever receive that the bond remains alive and vital. The invisible thread has not been severed. Life itself confirms this through signs that appear in the physical world around you. Their name surfaces in unexpected places at unexpected moments. You hear a meaningful and particular song precisely when you are contemplating letting go. You notice repeating numbers like 1111 appearing on clocks and license plates and receipts. These are not random coincidences. They are signals that the process is advancing toward its natural conclusion. Even your dreams transform into a genuine meeting ground during this period. During waking hours, their ego maintains its effort to stay in control. But in sleep, the soul is fully liberated from those constraints. You might dream of them with a vivid and startling clarity. These dreams feel more authentic and more real than ordinary waking experience. In these encounters, communication flows with an ease that is not yet possible in the physical world. There are embraces and reconciliations, and the speaking of long-withheld truths. These are genuine meetings where your souls are working out what needs to be resolved before it can manifest in the physical realm. If you have experienced emotions that did not feel like your own during this period, or if you have noticed signs appearing around you with an unusual frequency, write "I perceive it" in the comments below right now. This simple act of acknowledgement helps you honor and trust the depth of your own intuition. All of these signals exist to prepare you for what is coming. They arise to make you aware that the energy is approaching a breaking point. The resistance this person has maintained for so long is being steadily worn down by the weight of truth. Just before the breakthrough finally arrives, you will likely witness one final and disorienting episode. The night is always darkest just before the dawn comes. Before a person truly surrenders to love, the ego wages its most desperate and intense battle. This is the phase where most people abandon hope entirely and step away from the situation precisely when the transformation is on the very edge of occurring. You might observe this person retreating even further or becoming noticeably colder and more dismissive than before. They might withdraw from all contact or behave as though you hold no significance in their life at all. This conduct does not indicate that they have genuinely moved on from you. It is actually the ultimate signal that their ego is beginning to fragment under the weight of what they feel. Picture a rubber band being stretched to its absolute limit. To snap forward with force, it must first be pulled back as far as it will go. What you are witnessing now is that final and maximum tension.
Their ego perceives an existential threat to its dominance. It recognizes that it is losing the battle against its own authentic emotions. Their love for you has grown so overwhelming that it actively undermines their sense of control and composure. They respond with one final act of self-defense and self-protection. They are not fighting you, they are fighting themselves. Their coldness is a desperate and exhausting attempt to persuade themselves that they do not need you, that they can simply choose to stop caring and walk away clean. Acknowledging that they need you would require admitting they were wrong and they were afraid. This is your test. Do you trust what you observe on the surface, or do you trust what you feel at the deepest level? If you pursue them now, you release them back into the comfort of their resistance. But if you remain grounded and centered in your own truth, the pressure will complete its work without your interference. The greater the silence on the exterior, the louder the cry that echoes on the interior. This person is living a profound contradiction. Their entire being wants you, while their rational mind insists they must stay away. Performing indifference is exhausting. No one can sustain that pretense indefinitely without a complete collapse.
The energy of the connection is like water accumulating behind a wall. You can reinforce the wall with pride and distance and carefully constructed narratives, but when the river swells from genuine love and the emptiness you created, the barrier will eventually give way. When it happens, it is not gradual or quiet. It is an internal upheaval that compels them to stop deceiving themselves at every level. The person who relied on emotional distance and carefully maintained defenses is suddenly overwhelmed by a force they cannot contain or redirect. They understand finally that the price of control was far too great. The wall collapses because the soul provides no alternative path forward.
What follows is the movement you have been sensing for weeks or months. A gesture or a message more authentic and more vulnerable than anything that came before it. They return because they can no longer dismiss the reality of the bond that exists between you. The truth has found them, and it guides them back with the fundamental understanding that you are the place where their soul can finally breathe without restriction or performance. If this message has been resonating with something you have been carrying for a long time, this is the right moment to make sure you never miss what Carl Jung Psychology brings to this channel. Subscribe now and activate notifications so you are always the first to receive these insights the moment they are released. Once the wall finally gives way, the transition from resistance to action begins in earnest. This person who spent so long retreating and protecting themselves now enters a phase of profound and genuine reflection where they quietly examine the wreckage of their own pride. They begin to truly understand that the silence they wielded as a shield has actually become their prison. In this renewed phase, the fear of losing you transforms into a powerful and motivating force to make things right before the opportunity disappears entirely. They no longer question whether they should reach out, but rather how they can possibly bridge the distance they themselves created. This is a period of extreme vulnerability for them, unlike any they have known before. They are like someone stepping into sunlight after spending years in a darkened room. Every memory of you that they attempted to suppress and discard now resurfaces with striking and undeniable clarity. They begin to perceive the value of the connection not as a burden or a threat, but as the most precious and irreplaceable thing they have ever been offered. As they move closer to you energetically, you might notice a sudden tranquility beginning to replace the restlessness you felt during the preceding weeks. This occurs because the struggle has quietly concluded on the energetic level. They have ceased pulling away, and the tension that held everything in suspension has dissolved. You might also observe that your own impulse to check on them or search for external signs begins to naturally diminish, not because you stopped caring, but because you intuitively sense that the search itself has ended. The energy is now flowing in a single clear direction toward physical manifestation and direct communication. During this period of preparation, the person may begin making subtle, indirect gestures to carefully gauge your receptivity. They might interact with a shared friend or acquaintance, appear in places they know you visit, or share something specifically crafted with your awareness in mind. They are seeking a safe
and protected pathway to return without the ego being entirely destroyed in the process, even though the soul has already fully surrendered and made its decision. The final phase of this process is the direct breakthrough. This is when the person finally gathers the courage to speak their truth directly and without the protection of pretense. It typically occurs when they recognize with absolute clarity that the anguish of your absence far exceeds the fear of being truly and vulnerably seen. When they ultimately reach out, the exchange will feel fundamentally different from any previous interaction you have had with them. It will not revolve around old justifications or surface-level tensions and complaints. Instead, there will be a genuine weight of honesty in their words and their tone. They may not have everything perfectly articulated or rehearsed, but you will feel the profound transformation in their vibration. This is the moment where the genuine healing of the connection truly begins, where you are both offered the rare and precious opportunity to build something new on a foundation of truth rather than on the shifting ground of shadows and fear. You have maintained your space and fully reclaimed your power. And now the universe is delivering the tangible results of that internal work into your physical experience and your daily reality. This movement toward you is not a slow and uncertain approach, but a sudden and decisive recognition that time itself is running out. When a person arrives at the edge of their own resistance, they encounter what is known as a point of no return. They survey their life with clear and unforgiving eyes and recognize that everything they chose in place of you, their work, their carefully maintained distractions, their compulsion for control and emotional safety, feels completely hollow. The fear of losing you has finally accomplished its profound and necessary purpose. It has stripped away the last layers of pretense and self-deception. Now they exist in a state of deep and genuine preparation. They are rehearsing the words they wish to express and seeking the precise right moment to re-enter your life, unburdened by the full weight of their past choices and mistakes. This person is currently navigating a profound and unavoidable sense of regret, not as a punishment they must endure, but as a guide that reveals exactly where they deviated from their own truth and from the connection that mattered most. You will notice that as they prepare to act, your own energy becomes remarkably still and centered. This is the ultimate indication that the cycle is drawing toward its natural completion. You are no longer reaching outward or scanning the horizon for signs, because the connection is now being actively propelled by their effort and their intention. You may even find yourself experiencing a kind of calm detachment, which represents the most empowering and magnetically powerful position you can occupy. This detachment is not an absence of love. It is the complete and genuine dissolution of need. By existing in this state, you generate an extraordinary and irresistible magnetic pull that functions on levels beyond ordinary perception. The person feels this fundamental shift and recognizes with growing urgency that if they do not act now and act decisively, the door might close forever. This urgency is precisely what shatters the final remaining fragment of their pride. They understand completely that you are moving forward with or without their participation. And the image of a future world in which you are truly and permanently absent is more than they can bear to contemplate. The actual return frequently arrives in a manner that appears entirely ordinary, but carries the weight of profound and long-accumulated meaning. It might be a simple greeting or an inquiry about something seemingly minor, but beneath the surface of those ordinary words, it represents a total and unconditional surrender. They are carefully testing whether the bridge still stands and whether there is still a possibility of crossing it. When this happens, it is essential that you remember you are the one who established the new standard for this connection. You do not need to revert to the old patterns of chasing or over-explaining or diminishing yourself. The transformation occurred because you chose yourself fully and without apology. And the only way the connection remains balanced and genuine is if you continue to make that same choice going forward. This person is returning to an evolved and more grounded version of you, and they must rise to meet that version. There is no other way this works. The bond is being rebuilt and reconstructed from its foundation. But this time, that foundation is defined by mutual respect and genuine equilibrium rather than fear and maintained distance. As this person prepares to re-enter your world, they are undergoing a profound process of shedding their former identity and the defenses that identity required. They are beginning to truly comprehend that the person they were when they walked away